how the title company finds the taxes is they go back to the tax record, and if it's on the land prior to the house being built, it's a low amount. They don't do any other research. So a $500 tax bill is a lot different than a $4,000 tax bill.
Yeah.
So the buyer would the builder would take the $500 and prorate off that. And the buyer
gets a full tax bill
for that.
Yeah. And so see how it's slanted to the builder? Mr. Builder's like, hey, we can't ascertain what that's going to be, so we're going to go off last year. Last year's only $500. We're going to prorate that. I'm going to pay my portion, right? Great deal for Mr. Builder. Mr. Buyer then a couple months later gets the full tax bill.
Hello! Say they close in November.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Hello, big problem. Because now the county has reassessed that property. It's no longer just a blank lot. It's got improvements. It has a home on it. So we go from $500 a year in taxes to $4,000 a year in taxes. And Mr. and Mrs. Buyer are typically really pissed.
And totally responsible.
Yes, and their agents are calling me and telling me that we are crooks.
Yeah.
And I'm like going, wait, I wasn't there when they wrote the contract. You were. You represented your client. Did you forget to read it? The contract, did you have them sign?
Yeah.
So
that's what happens.
How can you keep that from happening?
Well, you write in additional terms and conditions that the assessed value is going, you need to find out what that's going to be or project what it could be.
Here's the deal. Title companies know the reason that they move forward with the way that they would create the HUD with the taxes is because they're instructed to per this contract, right? Right. They're instructed to do it that way. Now, do you think a title company has the ability to run a quick guesstimation with mill levies and all? They know all that information. Mm-hmm. They know how to do that. They do it every day.
They just follow the contract.
But they're doing what the contract says, so they're doing their job. Now, if you're representing a buyer in this situation, that does not work well for me as a buyer's agent. Just because I know what it says, and I know what kind of pickle my client is probably going to be in, and they're going to be really pissed at me.
And you think your buyer will appreciate you to point this stuff out?
Absolutely.
They will.
You bet.
So it's your job to learn this stuff so that you can advise, that you can give them good information to make decisions based upon.
On a build job, that isn't going to come into play, but on a spec home that has been sitting.
Yeah.
So you're sitting in a development and you get a direct.
Yeah.
You are representing the seller.
Yeah.
Correct. You got to explain. There's nothing wrong with explaining what you should. You should explain to them what they're signing. So if you explain to them what they're signing, you're not representing the seller in that process. You are representing the seller.
Okay.
You're telling the buyer what the deal is.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens most of the time is where we have the problems, it's not when our on-site agent is working with the buyer, it's when the co-op comes in who knows everything, absolutely everything, because they've been in real estate 20-some years. Yeah. They know everything. They come in and they write the contract and they tell the buyer all this stuff, which is not true because they haven't read the contract.
Yep.
And then they get mad at the builder. And ultimately, the on-site real estate agent, they get mad at you?
Oh, yeah.
No, they're mad at her. Did you do anything? Who wrote the contract?
She did.
Okay, so she wrote the contract, she gave it to you, you presented it to your seller.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain to me where Chrissy went wrong on all of this. She didn't. The bottom line is the agent that was representing that buyer failed to do their job. They didn't read the agreement. They didn't explain things. They may not have, like little training programs that go over everything so that you have knowledge so that you can do a good job in representing your clients. Okay? So, coming to these little training things, you learn things. Did you not?
Yes.
Marie, how long have you been in business?
6 years.
Okay.
But
Did you learn something today that you didn't know?
Right there.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And I'm
things
telling you,
change anyway.
Things change.
A
Matter
lot.
of fact,
Constantly.
the KCRR deal didn't used to have the deal about the commencement thing. And that's relatively new to
That's
it.
new for this year, for
Yeah.
2011.
So, things change. It is our responsibility to keep up with the changes, to understand those changes, and to convey those changes to the buyer or the clients,
To our
sellers, buyers, whoever we represent. Okay? And you get good at it, people are going to appreciate it. If you save somebody a bunch of money because you use your noodle and you explain things to them, they're going to appreciate it. They'll tell people. Okay?